I'm Reverend Nicole Reilley, and welcome to the Clergy Wellness Podcast. This is Season 1, Episode 14, Why You Need to Celebrate the Heck Out of Everything. Today we will also look at Wellness Practice of the Week, what is making this week good, and a mindfulness meditation. So let's jump in. The other day, I was thinking that I might just need a celebration protocol. Like I have a protocol or a plan for how much and when I exercise or study or read or work, I thought, I really need to have a plan, a protocol, for how much I celebrate. Why? Because it turns out that celebrating is really good for your wellness. So let me ask you, what was the last thing you celebrated? Last thing I celebrated was how clean the carpet in the kitchen got after I cleaned it with my 15-year-old carpet cleaner and this newfangled solution that I saw on one of those BuzzFeed articles. Yeah, it was epic. And now every time I go into the kitchen, I'm having a little mini celebration on how great it looks. In general, though, we don't celebrate enough. And for sure, we don't celebrate ourselves enough. Why is that? Well, we don't celebrate our accomplishments because we think, it's small potatoes. It's not a big deal. It's prideful to celebrate like that. Or I'll get a big head. Or I should be further along in my life or my church or whatever. So what is there really to celebrate? Or I didn't do it at 100%. I only did it at 80%. So I don't get to celebrate. Or I don't deserve it. Or my favorite, if I celebrate this little thing, then I won't keep going toward the bigger goal. Yikes. One great thing is that we can notice our lack of celebrating. Our lack of celebrating ourselves, our lack of celebrating others, and we can listen in on our brain's reasons for not celebrating more and ask if maybe we might want to change that. I notice that when I listen in on my brain, I notice that when I am thinking about celebrating, I hear a voice from my childhood telling me to get back to work. And that is, of course, one reason why I don't pause long enough to celebrate, because there is, of course, always more to do. So what about you? Do you celebrate? Did you know celebration helps keep you motivated? It reinforces that you are going in the right direction. And daily wins remind us what is working. Having a practice of celebrating matters for our wellness. In the article, The Science of Celebration, author Aaron Wilder reminds us that celebrating is one of our natural impulses. We celebrate our kids' grades, our parents' anniversary, our neighbor's birthday. Celebration actually has huge implications for our health. First, celebrations reduce stress. When we celebrate, it takes us away from the grind of chasing victory and encourages us to pause and focus on what has gone right. This positive thinking reduces our stress. We move, we smile, we take a deep breath as we pause and celebrate. When we reduce our stress, it helps us in so many ways. It helps us perform better, it increases our physical health, and it even decreases our burnout. So, first thing, stress is reduced when we celebrate more. And second, celebrating releases happiness, which means it releases some of the chemicals of joy that live in our body. Those are our endorphins and dopamine and serotonin. In fact, if depression is often linked to too little serotonin, anyone who struggles with depression, or any churches out there that struggle with discouragement, want to have regular celebrations. It will increase your wellness. Endorphins can be triggered by laughter, dopamine by reward, and serotonin by community. And celebration combines all three of these. And number 3, celebrations build loyalty and also productivity. Whether it's in a family or in your church, celebrations for birthdays, or we got through Holy Week and Easter, or it's Thursday, actually build loyalty, relationships, and people being able to continue their work, to continue their goals. Staff or family benefit, and relationships and achievement benefit too. Devin Fry in Psychology Today wrote an article called Why You Should Celebrate Everything. And that article reminded me that any celebration, big or small, is about noticing the good stuff in our lives. It helps us be mindful of the gifts around us. And it gives us a stronger sense of well-being. Celebrations let us savor the good stuff, and that actually builds resilience against the not-so-great things and life's daily stresses. Celebrations make us feel more optimistic and able to successfully deal with life. Celebration is a basic wellness practice, and you and I can direct our brain toward this practice. So think for a moment about your own life. Are you someone who pauses to celebrate? What was the last thing you celebrated in your family? What was the last thing you celebrated with your staff? What was the last thing you celebrated in the church? I remember one of the big celebrations we had in ministry was we were in a situation where money was tight and we weren't sure we were going to be able to keep all the staff we were hoping to keep. So I laid it out very plainly and clearly. We had opportunities for people to get more information. And then when the money came in, we were able to see that, yes, we were able to move forward. So I planned that we would have a champagne toast in our fellowship hall. It wasn't real champagne, it was that Martinelli sparkling cider. But we did spend the big bucks to get the right plastic glasses, so it did look like a celebration with champagne. It was important, and it cemented in their minds an early win in our ministry together. I'm always looking for how to celebrate because I find ministry is tough. It's full of discouragements and lots of things that aren't going according to plan. How would life be different if, in fact, we looked toward celebrating our everyday wins in the local church and in our own personal lives? I'm actually better at celebrating wins in the local church and in my family than I am in celebrating them for myself. It's one of the things I'm working on this year, trying to look for the little celebrations and really pause and go, I'm celebrating this one. I notice in my head, my brain keeps saying, yeah, you could celebrate it now, but it won't be like this. next month. That's just how my brain is. It's anxious about a lot of things. But as I steer it more toward and practice more of a discipline of celebration, I am going to find, I believe, that life is better because regular celebrations help us to be more well and more happy. So I invite you to think about celebrations' place in your own life and how your staff and your family and your own daily living would be different. Because I really do think we do need to celebrate the heck out of everything. Wellness practice of the week. And this is where I share something that you can do this week to increase your wellness. So this week's wellness practice is to have a celebration protocol or a plan. Here's a couple things that you might think about in putting one together. Number one, put the bar really low on what you're going to celebrate. Was it an almost perfectly ripe avocado? Is there still one roll of toilet paper in the house? Did you get through another Sunday alive? Well, celebrate it, my friends. A lot of times we put the bar pretty high when we think about what we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate an 85th birthday or a 40th wedding anniversary or straight A's in school. But actually, we get to decide what we celebrate. And so I want to encourage you to put the bar really low on what you're going to celebrate. Number two, because celebrating is a state of mind, learn what supports your brain in celebrating. And I think when we talk about celebration, we often connect it to parties. And sure, you can have champagne and cupcakes every time you're celebrating, but sadly, that isn't always practical. So, celebrating is a frame of mind. It is how we're looking at something. It is how we're thinking about something. This is we're celebrating, and then we generate that emotion of celebration. So, what helps you generate that emotion of celebrating? I find it's a little tough if you're not used to doing it. If you're used to just putting your head down and keep going because there's so much work to do, or that's only the first of about 500 things that need to change around here, it's hard to get your brain to go into that place. So what I find works for me is to have a commitment to the idea of celebrating. And then I pause and I say, this is worth celebrating. And I take a deep breath and I smile. That little rhythm helps me generate thoughts and feelings about celebration. Might be different for you. Your celebration might look like you leave 10 minutes early that day, or your celebration might be you stop at Starbucks and pick up a drink, or your celebration might be you post on Facebook or text a friend. Whatever you do, you need to figure that piece out because celebration is a state of mind, and you need to learn what your mind needs in order to celebrate more. So experiment, have fun. Number 3, take a moment at the end of the workday to say, what can I celebrate here at the church before I go home? Now, this is helpful if you keep office hours at the church or if you have work meetings in person, but you sure can do it at your home office as well or on a Zoom call. It's easy at the end of the day to bring home your frustrations to family or to bring home your frustrations if you if you live alone, to bring home your frustrations to yourself in the evening and let that affect the rest of your evening. So instead, pause and see what could be celebrated. Savor it. Be grateful for it. It could be little. It could be really little. Here's the thing, though. The more we savor the good things around us, the more we see them, and the more we can celebrate them. Because celebrating will, my friends, increase your wellness. So what is making this week good? This is the part of the episode when I talk about some of what I am enjoying with the hope that you will notice those good things in your week too. So this week is a big week for me. I am getting ready to travel to the Illinois Great River Conference of the United Methodist Church. I am doing 2 keynotes for a conference they have, and I'm also doing a workshop. And I have spent so much time getting this ready. And so what is making this week good is that it's ready. And now I just need to do the pieces where I go over it and get it more in my memory. Doing an hour-long keynote and even doing 2-hour-long keynotes is really new for me. I'm a good 25-minute preacher, so figuring all this out has been a huge challenge, but it's also been a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to a new place to visit. I've never been here before, and to seeing several friends that I know from previous work. I like stretching myself to try new things because doing new things is making this week good. Mindfulness meditation. So take a moment wherever you're at and take in a deep breath and relax and be present in whatever way works for you. And remember who you are. You are God's beloved. And remember in whose image you were created, in the image and likeness of God. Today, I want to do something a little different. I want to give you a couple phrases to say, to breathe in, to live into. And so I'm going to say them and then give you some space to repeat them if you choose to do that, either silently or aloud. However that works for you. So take a moment to be present and centered. And repeat these phrases after me. Today, I will celebrate the good. Today, I will celebrate the good. I will look for reasons to celebrate. I will look for reasons to celebrate. Celebration is good for the soul. Celebration is good for the soul. Remember these words this week, and may they give you life. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. I invite you to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Your doing that allows us to reach new people, and that's a helpful way to be part of this new thing that I'm doing, and I sure appreciate it. You can follow me also on Instagram and Facebook. I'm at Nicole Reilley Coaching, and I post throughout the week some great quotes from a variety of people and images to help us just take a moment for wellness during the day. Find out how to work with me as a clergy coach, a life coach, and social media management at NicoleReilley.com. And I invite you to check out my book, Expanding the Expedition Through Digital Ministry, at Amazon. Today, I invite you to make the important choice to embrace a life of wellness. See you next week.